What's up, everybody? It's time for the weekly rooting guide. We are in week number 12 of the NFL season, and let's face it, the Seahawks are going to need some help here. They're going to need some help because it doesn't look like they're going to be able to help themselves that much. So let's take a look at these games that don't involve the Seahawks and figure out what we can with these games. So Thursday, we've got three games. Obviously, the Seahawks play. We're not talking about that yet. We'll talk about that tomorrow. These other two games, I think, are pretty clear cut. You've got Packers Lions. We're not catching the Lions. Their schedule's too easy. Our schedule's too hard. We're not playing well enough. The Lions, I know they're not playing that well, but they are playing well enough to feast on that schedule. So I'm not thinking about catching the Lions at this point. I just want the Packers to go away. And if the Packers sneak a game like this, they're suddenly looking very alive, which is what we want to avoid. So yeah, Packers, please lose, please go away. By the time we get to mid-December, I'm hoping the Packers are not involved in anything. I mean, obviously they're not a very good team. I'm not worried about them the same way I would be worried about them if they had Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, may as well flush them now. And then the afternoon game is Commanders Cowboys. This one's a little more interesting because the Cowboys, with their remaining schedule, it's a little more feasible that we could end up in a dogfight with them, especially because we play them head to head. But the Commanders are technically still in the wild card race. Now, here's the thing: are we really gonna sweat the Commanders when they lost to the Giants? They've lost to the Bears, and we've already beat them head to head. It doesn't seem very likely, but I guess it's still possible. So I guess we just want the Cowboys to win. I think that securing a wild card spot is more important than trying to jockey for the 5 seed when the 5 seed might be out of our reach anyway. Like with all these games we're probably about to lose coming up, with this schedule coming up, I don't know if we can keep up with the Cowboys even if they get beat up a little bit. So yeah, may as well push the Commanders all the way down to the bottom so we don't have to worry about them. If the Commanders can get to 9 losses, we can basically forget about them because, I mean, 8 and 9 is kind of our worst case scenario right now. And at 8 and 9 with the Commanders, it would be a tie and we own the tiebreaker. All right, so that's Thursday. We also have a game on Friday, but I don't think this means anything. Dolphins, Jets, whichever. Two AFC teams. Neither team's bad enough to get a top pick. So I don't see this one mattering for the Seahawks any which way. So whichever. Saints Falcons kicks off our Sunday, and this is a very big one and a very interesting one, right? This is how much do you want to gamble, right? Because we may end up owning the Saints' third round pick, so we want them to lose. But the Saints are also probably going to win the division, so we're not going to be competing with them for a wild card spot. We're going to be competing with maybe the Falcons. So then we kind of want the Falcons to lose because they're the team that is more likely to end up in the wild card race. Now, the ideal would be for the Falcons to win this game and then the Saints to just go on a tragic downfall to where they end up with like 6 wins on the season and just be terrible. That way they don't make the playoffs and we get a good third round pick from them, potentially. But that's a gamble. Like in the moment, the Falcons winning this game is kind of dangerous because it opens up a scenario where both the Saints and the Falcons make the playoffs, and whoever gets the wild card of those two teams would quite possibly be taking it from the Seahawks. And by the way, in case you haven't noticed, yes, I'm still speaking as if I want the Seahawks to make the playoffs because I do. I know some people are going to say, well, who cares if we make the playoffs if we only have 8 wins? I would still prefer it. I'd rather win 8 games and make the playoffs than win 8 games and not make the playoffs. If I'm going to sit there and watch a mediocre team for 4 months, I'd at least want to get one extra playoff game. But yeah, this is a gamble here. I'm going to say we want to play it safe and let's get the Saints to win. The Saints winning puts them gives them a decent leg up in the division race, pushes the Falcons down, and gives us a little less to worry about. So I'm going to say we actually want the Saints to win, but this is tough. It's close. Depends on your perspective. Steelers Bengals doesn't mean a lot. I guess since we haven't played the Steelers yet, we want them to bank wins so that way they don't need the win as much when they play us. But again, that could be interpreted the other way. You could say the Steelers are going to be feeling better about themselves if they win this game when they play us, and they're more likely to beat us then. So, I don't know. Depends on your perspective. So, yeah, either way. Doesn't really translate all that well to me either way in terms of good for us with the Steelers winning or the Bengals winning. Panthers, Titans. I guess we want the Titans to win so the Panthers maintain their top pick status. By the way, they're sending it to the Bears, as I've said before. And we play the Titans, so I guess we want their strength of schedule to go up a bit. So, yeah, may as well root for the Titans. And at this rate, if the Panthers could just lose every game and send the number one overall pick to the Bears, that would be funny. And it would also be preferable for us as Seahawks fans, I think. Buccaneers, Colts. This is a big one. If the Colts could please do us a favor and take care of this Buccaneers team, push them down another notch, that'd be great. Buccaneers are one of those teams that is just lingering around, waiting to take the 7 seed with 8 wins if the Seahawks decide they don't want it. So push them down, push them down, push them down. So this is low-key big for us. We need the Colts to win. Patriots, Giants. I'm going to say we want the Giants to win because they've already won a game, so they've already kind of ruined the Caleb thing. So, if possible, we want Caleb to go to the AFC. So, that would be New England. So, if New England can just lose out, they're already 2-8, they're already most of the way there. If they can just lose out, they've got a real chance at that top pick, and that's the ideal, getting Caleb away from the conference entirely. Because I'll say it, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that Caleb is the real deal, and I don't want him in my division, and if possible, get him out of the conference. Jaguars, Texans, another AFC on AFC matchup, but this one's pretty easy. We want the Texans to win because they send their first pick to the Cardinals. So, like I've said before, we're going to root for the Texans most games because of that pick situation. So, yeah, we are Texans fans for sure. I think there. Browns, Broncos. The only rooting interest we really have here is the fact that we might have Denver's third round pick. So we would probably want them to lose. And we played the Browns this year. Strength of schedule means we want the Browns to win. So we are rooting for the Browns in that one, I think. Not huge factors, but existent factors, we'll say. Better than nothing. Rams, Cardinals. Cardinals, you've been flirting with victories lately. You even got one against Atlanta, actually. But if you could just help us out one more time, get this win, push yourself further out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, and deal the Rams a crushing blow, because I'll tell you, that is a scenario I do not want to be dealing with at the end of the year, where the Seahawks get the 8 seed, by which I mean they don't make the playoffs. And the reason why they don't is because they finish in a tie with the Rams, who swept us. Like, that's a realistic possibility. We could end up 8-9, and the Rams are 8-9, and then the Rams have the tiebreaker. They take the playoff spot. We watch the Rams in the playoffs from home. So the sooner I can stop worrying about that scenario, the better. So Cardinals, help a brother out. Chiefs, Raiders. Not really anything going on here. Can't think of any angles to root for any team from a Seahawks perspective. So root for who you will, when you will, what you will. Doesn't mean anything to the Seahawks as near as I can tell. Bills, Eagles. Again, thinking that we're going to catch the Eagles is kind of ludicrous at this point. Their schedule isn't tough enough. Our schedule is too tough. They're not playing great football, but they're certainly playing better football than we are. But I guess we may as well root for them to lose. We may as well root for Buffalo because, why not while we're here? But I'm telling you right now, if you think we're catching Philly for the 1 seed or 2 seed, get it out of your head. Not happening. The Sunday night game is Ravens Chargers, AFC on AFC. We don't play. Well, we did play the Ravens actually, so I guess we want the Ravens to win for strength of schedule purposes. That's it. That's it though. I can't think of any other angle. And then Monday night we got Bears Vikings. May as well continue to try to push the Vikings away. Vikings lingering around in that 7th seed as of right now, and don't get me wrong, they can have it. But if another team were to rise up and become an NFC playoff contender, I'd prefer it become more realistic that the Vikings could fall out of it. So the Bears already have 3 wins. They're not going to get Caleb with their native pick anyway. So yeah, we're hoping the Bears win, hoping the Vikings take the L and continue to kind of fade out of this playoff picture just a little bit, or at least fade to the point where if another team rises up, it'll be the Vikings they knock out, not the Seahawks. That's my rooting guide for the week, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys think I missed any angles, but that's everything that I can see. And like I said, the Seahawks need help because they cannot help themselves right now. See you guys later. Go Hawks.